Shalom from southern Gaza, shalom from Khan Yunis. I'm just thinking for a moment as I'm here guarding and just looking back, what did the enemy really accomplish? What did they want to accomplish? What were their goals? Hamas, Islam Jihad, what were their goals? Okay, so they accomplished, invading Israel. They did that, raping, murdering, pillaging, shooting people in the private parts in their genitals. They did that. They took people hostage, innocent people, including babies, hostage. Okay, so they accomplished that, but they wanted to free also a lot of terrorist murderers from the Israeli prisons, and now there's like triple the amount, right, in the Israeli prisons. So that didn't work so well for them. They wanted to stop Jewish people from visiting where our temple used to stand on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. They wanted to stop that, and that's what they called it, El Aqsa flood, right? And El Aqsa is up there on the Temple Mount, but it's more and more Jewish people are wanting to visit the Temple Mount and to pray there, and they wanted to take over Israeli territory and conquest Israeli territory. But what happened is actually Gaza got destroyed instead. Judgment came back on them. Terror returned upon them, and they wanted to make us afraid and instill terror onto us. But we instead have unity, resilience, yachad Ninatzeach, together we will win, right? They thought that we were all falling apart. The military was falling apart. They thought that our government was completely falling apart. They had no idea that there was Israelis that would fly in from out of the country. They would come enlist, and people would leave their trips in Peru and South America and come back here. They thought that the axis of evil would all come together, meaning like Hezbollah and even the Houthis and even the terror groups in Iraq and in Jordan and in Egypt, and that ISIS would join, everyone would join and fight. But it was surprising for them, I'm sure, that really not that many joined them. And they thought after October 7th, everyone would be like, wow, Hamas is so great. But they banked on the U.S. and Europe and the UN persuading Israel not to invade, not to do any ground incursion. But they banked on the whole Arab world to sever ties with Israel, to cut us off completely from the world. Even Turkey, they said some mean words, but they still do business with us. They still work with us. It didn't happen. Their plan didn't work. It was a plan that took a long, long time. The amount of time it took them to dig these tunnels that were blowing up, the amount of time it took them to put these weapons caches all over these buildings that were blowing up, that were removing. They thought there would be Palestinian masses across all of America and Europe that would totally rise up, and if anything, they did do the flag waving, but it really made us it made the world really look and say, oh my goodness, in Britain, in France, in all over, to take a really good look at our own countries and say, hey, what kind of goals do the people have that are in this country? Do they want to be even part of this country? Do they want to destroy the country? What's going on? And so it's actually woke up a lot of countries. So I think that if I summarize everything, I'd say a lot of their goals didn't really happen. In fact, it backfired on them. And when God says, I will curse those who curse you, right, in Genesis 12, verse 1, it really uses the word, I will, destroy those who mikalelcha, those who treat you lightly, who badly esteem you. I will, the word is, it's not just curse, it's like destroy. And I do see God's judgment at work here, and it didn't necessarily have to be like this. But this is just the way it works. It's not called karma, it's called God's covenant. Not karma, it's covenant. God has made a promise to this land and people. So we just say, hey, maybe people will take note and learn how to live in the blessing.